Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. Back to our regularly scheduled programming, Fatal Frame, Maiden of the Blackwater. I expect about 10 more videos, and then we're done. And this is bad timing because of the gap between this video and the last, but I wanted to talk mostly about what happens in the previous video. But to recap, Miyu had a flashback to where she was approached by a talent scout, she had her photos taken, and it is heavily implied that she slept with the scout/photographer on his insistence. This sequence of events speaks to a lot about issues in Japan, so we can take this video to talk about them. But in the game, I have the punk costume on, Yuri, so let's give that a try. But there's always been a business around cheesecake or burlesque photography, but you add social media and smartphones and cosplay, and it has exploded here in Japan. There are plenty of people making a living off of simply posting their photographs, either selfies or those taken by professionals. And there are plenty of people just posting photos of themselves for free. It's a voyeur's paradise. But just as long, there have been people that take advantage of this phenomenon, that use the camera and promise of business to get closer to their targets. There is the element of the Japanese using the camera to create physical representations of their memories, as I talked about in a previous video. There is an element of the shy Japanese using the camera as like an intermediary or a buffer between them and their subject to make the encounter more bearable. But here I wanted to talk about the camera as a device through which people can exploit or take advantage of people. And this topic is covered in the Satoshi Kon film Perfect Blue, which I highly recommend. It's a disturbing psychological thriller where I actually sympathize with the bad guy. Okay, but again, talking about the game, here we're very close to the top of the mountain, because this is where we suspect Hisoka, Kurosawa, has gone. And yeah, it looks very volcanic and like blasted. Kind of a lifeless gray landscape, very cool looking. And then we saw Kurosawa-san heading into this clearing. And we see this person has appeared a few times up to now, holding a mirror, which seems to have some kind of enchanting effect. And then she's standing next to a reliquary. So she's shining the mirror in our eyes. We fall under a spell. And then we wake up in the reliquary. Oh my god. And this is a cool sequence. There's actually a boss fight from within the reliquary. If we can take a picture of the person, we can escape. But the window is very small. Thankfully though, she slows down here, so we can take a picture, do a combo shot, and escape the reliquary. Alright, anyway. In Fatal Frame, the talent scout using photography as a ruse to get close to a pretty girl, that's nothing really new. But I specifically wanted to talk about Miyu's response to this. At first, she's naively believing the scout, but when it cuts to the part where it is heavily implied that they sleep together, Miyu now sounds super jaded and like her naivete is broken. And what was most distressing to me was her basically giving up and then giving the scout what he wanted without really giving up a fight. She's acting like it was something fated to happen. And I see this a lot in Japan, and that makes me sad. I am half Japanese, but I grew up in the States, and I always wondered what it would be like to have grown up in Japan. And now that I know what I know, I'm happy I grew up in the States because I learned how to think for myself, I learned how to think critically, I learned to not stand for other people's bullshit. Having lived in Japan for a while now, I know the school system here would not have taught me that, and I wonder if I would have been able to foster it in myself. I kind of doubt it. Okay, but back here in the game, we're here at the lake at the top of the mountain, and again, pretty crazy landscape here. But way in the distance, we can see a figure. It is Kurosawa-san, and then a gate as well. And those gates usually stand in the front of shrines. But yes, going back to talking about Japan again. The Japanese school system encourages obedience and being a team player, suppressing your own desires for the greater good. And that's fine, up to a point. But it only prepares students for situations where everything is hunky-dory. What about situations where people seek to take advantage or exploit you, whether they be teachers or bosses or partners? Most Japanese people are not educated, neither in school nor in the home, in how to handle conflict or how to defend themselves against people that would take advantage of them. And then Mew simply giving up in this game is an example of that. A common thing in Japanese workplaces is new workers working in harsh conditions or being abused, and then they simply put up with it until they either burn out or have a nervous breakdown. Alright, but in the game we have worked our way out into the lake, and then the messed up lady appears again. Oh my god. And then previously when I've encountered her, taking pictures of her will do no damage. So we're just gonna run away. And with the fog, can't see where I'm going. Although this lake never seems very deep. Okay, looks like we got away. We've come this far, but we're gonna return. Okay, that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.